Well, we are nearing the end of the first half of this update, and as the Italian Revolution season is coming to an end, today I will be giving a final overview of all what we have got so far, so we can understand how good or bad this entire season was as a whole. Was it more bad than good, or was it better than we think? Well, let's dive into it. Of course, I think it's appropriate that during this video I should be adding some races playing this season final MP2, so that's what I will be doing. I think it will be better if we focus on the good things first rather than just looking at the downsides, which I will get to in a while. During this season we finally started to get tokens again instead of season tokens in multiplayer, and I could see that despite some tokens milestones were slightly reduced, in general the tokens amount wasn't super bad considering what we used to get, back when season tokens were a thing. Also, something which is quite nice from my perspective is the fact that now special events are in general a bit shorter, both in time and stages, so in general it's nice since more special events can fit in a season while we can maintain the level of rewards in general. Talking about rewards, we got quite nice stuff if we count the tokens we could get from the Stradale special event rerun, as well as from the surprise F1 LM's Unleashed rerun, which I think everyone agrees is a quite nice special event to close this season, considering the fact that the F1 LM is the most solid big class car so far, and this is the second Unleashed it got, so I wouldn't miss this chance to get one of the cars I like to drive the most from this entire game if I were you guys. Even though I have the feeling that for some reason this car may end up out of Elite B at some point through this year, but I really hope to be wrong there. Okay, so now moving to the neutral stuff from this update, this is, the things which I can consider bad or good for now. We have, of course, the overclock, because, this feature has been controversial since it was just added to the game, and since it's not completely paywall, I can't really say it's bad per se, but the truth is that the boosts it provides are not massive to the cars where you can apply the overclock boost, as we could see on my previous videos, so it ended up not being as mind-blowing as everyone thought it would be. One way or another, I do really think that the overclock chips should be a bit easier to obtain, given the fact that you can get them either from a single showcase event, which doesn't give enough of them to keep, a decent pace in case you want to use overclock chips for the Clash or Grand Prix, or, you can get them straight up getting them from the shop offers. But I hope that Gameloft will introduce some kind of changes on this feature from now on, so let's see what the upcoming updates change about this. Because who knows, maybe Gameloft ends up removing the overclock completely in, let's say, 5 months, or maybe the overclock never leaves the game ever, so only time will tell. Okay, so now it's time to focus on the, let's say, not so good stuff. First of all, we got a ton of cars, but being completely honest, most of them are not the most useful ones, like the Alfa Romeo Giulia or the ATS Automobili GT. I mean, it wasn't that bad the fact that the Giulia isn't a king of its class, since it was, a Grand Prix car which can be obtained completely for free, and basically the same goes to the Huracan STO, just that in this case it's a Legends Pass car, so I didn't expect something spectacular from there, but it was the ATS Automobili GT Special Hand where I realized that not all cars should be that bad, considering how extremely hard it was to log and max it out for free-to-play players, due to the absolutely horrible drops present at the very first stages of the ATS Automobili Special Hand. Even if we need the ATS Automobili for the upcoming season Aston Martin Valkyrie Unleashed event, the car's sole purpose is to serve as a way to get rewards on certain special events or events, and that's it, since it's not possible to be truly competitive with the ATS Automobili GT on multiplayer unless you play with it at the very last days of the season or something like that, because otherwise it's basically useless. A really bad car which in my opinion was unnecessarily hard to obtain for the only things it was added to do. On the relatively bright side, we got the W Motors Like a Neon edition through a special event that, let's get real, wasn't the easiest one to complete, but if you decided to go for it, at least you could get a really nice and competitive car in return. As I explained on my previous video, maybe I was too harsh with the Like a Neon edition during my first video, checking out its special event, but as you can see on these races as well as on the ones I posted on my previous video about it, the car is more than decent and can easily win cars like the Rimac Nevera, the Bugatti Chiron and that stuff in classic multiplayer with ease. It's not a 100% necessary car, but it still is quite fun to use, so that's basically the best car out of this entire season. Okay, so looking a bit into the next season, the only truly interesting car I can see so far is the Ferrari Daytona SP3, since despite it's not a well consolidated C-Class king, it could be a good substitute for those who don't have the Arena Rayus Era 33. Well, if it wasn't for the fact that basically everyone has the Ysera these days. But hey, I mean, the Daytona is a Grand Prix car and thus is basically free, so it's better than nothing, so that's okay. Then we have the Pagani Utopia, which is in a nutshell basically another Pagani Aurora BC, just that with better handling and acceleration, but you know, maybe a bit worse nitro and let's see, okay, 1 km/h faster top speed. Yeah, it's not a big deal, maybe to have some fun in multiplayer, but that's basically it. I don't know about you guys, but for some reason I never really liked the way the Utopia looks, because since it was announced for the first time, I had a look at it and I felt like, no, I don't know, it's something, feels like something is off. You guys already know I will likely go for it just in case, but if you skip this Pagani Utopia special event, nothing should happen, to be honest. But now get ready, because here it comes my conclusion about this first half of this update, and my final thoughts about it are it's just average. Another quite forgettable season if we talk about the cars included from an overall view, and you know, that's certainly frustrating. I mean, let me explain. I don't know who's in charge of the game right now, if it's the devs, the investors, I legit have zero idea. I'm not into the industry up to the point where I can understand who truly decides where to head the game to, but man, I mean, for real, they should start considering the idea of adding more content the way Asphalt 9 China does. Because I know that you can't just compare Asphalt 9 Global with Asphalt 9 China, since the communities are different, the studios in charge are completely different, and the Asphalt 9 China version basically had to introduce a less aggressive approach to the way it gets money from the players, since not the same amount of people plays it if we compare it with the global version. But what should not be the case is the fact that Asphalt 9 China looks like the final product rather than a beta version as it is considered, while the global version still lacks of many things that shouldn't be extremely hard to add from the Asphalt 9 China version. I mean, both games should have quite similar code, but why as the global version players are we getting overclock chips and season tokens, while the Asphalt 9 China players got Gauntlet and a bunch of events that help beginners to catch up way faster? I mean, I'm not saying to make the game full free to play in the global version, but I feel like the global version has a ton of potential which is being completely lost for reasons that of course will likely never be disclosed to the community, but I mean, I feel it's certainly frustrating because theoretically we are the definite version of the game and we lack a ton of content that could be introduced, like more decals, more effects, game modes, among other features that already exist in the Chinese version, but that we ain't getting because of what? I mean, in order to have something to add in the future, while now we deal with things like the season tokens or the overclock. I mean, let's not even mention the infection mode that we got, or that slipestream-like Grand Prix which got deleted in the past, because it's frustrating. I mean, it's bad, it feels bad. I don't know if you guys feel the same way I do about this, but come on, I mean, during this year, Racing Master is set to be released. I have been playing the beta and I got some information about the monetization it will have once the global version is released, and while other companies are set to release strong competitors in the racing genre, in Asphalt 9 we are still waiting for crossplay to arrive, which, don't get me wrong, is a massive change, but man, I mean, the game is not only about crossplay. We, the global version players, deserve more events and content, if not at the same level as the China version because of the brand's licenses and agreements and that stuff, at least to a similar level regarding game modes. Because I have spent a ton in this game and I'm the first one who wants it to thrive and get better and bigger, but it legit feels like it will never be possible given the way things are right now, and obviously I'm worried that if nothing changes, eventually Asphalt 9 could end up in a bad path just because it's not possible for it to keep the pace with the competition. And no, I see it coming. Many people may not call Racing Master competition for Asphalt 9 since it's not an arcade the same way Asphalt 9 is, but I bet that if most of you guys have a look, you will understand what I'm talking about. Anyways, after my personal rant, I think it's your time, guys, to let me know your thoughts about this entire situation. Sometimes while I, edit my videos, I think to myself, how little could it cost to me to just go with the flow like all the other creators without giving any kind of opinion about what's going on with the game? Just maxing out my cars and act as if everything is okay, well, it clearly isn't. But then I remember that this channel as a whole is just a hobby and it's not like anything I do will change anything, but at least I can say I tried. It is what it is. I mean, let me know your thoughts about in the comment section, make sure to drop your like and subscribe in order to not miss any single video, and I will see you really soon as usual with much more Asphalt content. Goodbye, guys.